Hey kiddos, it is Mrs. Rudd here with a little division practice. So if you are watching this video, it is because we want to give you some extra help with long division. So let's do me a favor. Grab the practice work that your teacher gave you. Maybe it was me, maybe it was one of the other 6th grade math teachers, but grab that. I would also like you, let me zoom in a little. I would also like you to make sure you have a pencil. A highlighter might help, and maybe something that writes in color. Have those 3 things kind of handy. Something else that you might find useful is a Post-it note or an index card or even like a piece of scrap paper. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this Post-it note, and this right here is the part that's sticky. I'm just going to fold that sticky part over on itself, basically to cover that sticky part up. And I'm going to use this Post-it note here so that I can divide going digit by digit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through the first 3 problems with you on each page of your practice packet so we can get started, so that you have a little bit of extra help. And hopefully with a little bit of extra help and a little bit of extra practice, you'll have the hang of long division and you'll be able to do the rest of that independently. So let's start by taking a look at this guy. Right here on this page, there's a little grid. The problems are basically overlaid on a grid, and that's really just to help you keep everything in line. So if you don't like them here, you can rewrite these on a piece of paper, but you might find that this helps you to stay organized. The other thing is we are going to round these to the nearest hundredth. I'm pretty sure that direction is on your page. I'm going to write it up here on mine. We're going to round to the hundredths. Some of these problems might end before that, but if not, if they keep going on, we'll just stop and round it. So let's start here with our first problem. Here we're going to look at the problem 374 divided by 17. And when you're approaching a long division problem, I think it's best to approach it digit by digit, and that's where this little Post-it note comes in. So I'm going to scoot that over to reveal my first digit. And I'm going to ask myself, how many times can I take 17 away from 3? Well, you can't. If you have 3, that's not enough. So some of you might like to put a 0 right there. You can put a 0 right there, but it's not a necessary 0. Well, I'm going to slide back over one more time. Now my question is, how many times can I take 17 away from 37? The answer to that is 2. 17 times 2 is 34. So I'm going to write those digits in the boxes so that when I go to subtract, my digits are in the right column. 7 minus 4 is 3, and 3 minus 3 is nothing, so I'm not going to write the 0 there. Now what I need to do is I need to pull this next digit down. So I moved my Post-it note to reveal the next digit. I'm going to bring that next digit down, and now what I'm looking at is how many times can 17 be subtracted from from 34, excuse me. And the correct answer is 2. 17 times 2 is 34, and the remainder is 0. And since I don't have any more digits, and I don't have a remainder, I'm done with this problem. The quotient, or the answer, is simply 22. Let's do the same thing with this problem here. Here, my problem is 868, and I'm dividing that by 33. So I'm going to take that Post-it note, and I'm going to cover up the digits of my dividend. I really only care about this one digit at a time. So if I slide that over to reveal the first digit, I have an 8, and I can't take 33 away from 8. So I'm not going to put that 0 right there. I don't need it. Let's slide over one more time. Now my question is, how many times can I take 33 away from 86? Well, if I tried to do that 3 times, 33 times 3, I would get 99, and that's too much. So I know I'm going to be able to take it away twice. Another way you can kind of estimate is by looking at the first digit of your divisor and the first digit of your quotient. You could take 3 away from 8 2 times. So 2 is a good guess for trying to estimate how many times you could take 33 away from 86. Well, anyways, 2 times 33 is 66. 6 minus 6 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. So now I need to see if I have any more digits, which I do. I'm going to bring that digit down. And now my question is, how many times could I take 33 away from 208? Well, using that same trick with estimation, I could take 3 away from 20. That would be 6 times, because 3 times 6 is 18. So let's see what 33 times 6 gives us. 3 times 6 is 18. Regroup my 1. 18 plus 1, it's 19. That's going to be as close as I can get without going over. So I know I can take 33 away from 208 6 times. 6 times 33 is 198. 8 minus 8 is 0. And 20 minus 19 is 1. So my remainder is 10. Now, here's where I need to do something with a decimal. I've used all the digits in my divisor. I've used all the digits in my dividend. I do know what that thing is called. I just said the wrong word. I still have a remainder, so I'm going to add a decimal down, a decimal up, 0, 0, 0. If I'm not done dividing by the time I use up all those zeros, we'll be done dividing because we'll have enough information to round to the 100th place. So let's take this first 0. We're going to drag it on down there. And my question is, how many times can I take 33 away from 100? Well, I know that I can take 33 away from 100 3 times. 3 times 33 is 99. 100 minus 99 is 1. And I ran out of squares here, but that's okay. I can still keep my work neat and organized. So now I'm going to bring down this next digit. The next digit in my dividend is a 0, so we'll just drag him on down there. Then it's a 10. How many times can we take 33 away from 10? Well, you can't. 10 is not enough. We can take it away 0 times. 0 times 33 is 0. 10 minus 0 is 10. Now let's drag down that next 0. When I bring that down there, now my question is, how many times can we take 33 away from 100? The answer is 3. 3 times 33 is 99. And guess what? We get to stop. We have enough information to round this problem. So this really is going to go into a repeating pattern, and it's just going to go on and on and on. But if I want you to round this to the nearest 100th, that's that second place past the decimal. He looks here to the 1,000th place because this 3 is going to tell this 0 to either round up or stay the same. And since this 3 is less than 5, our 0 is not going to go at all. It's just going to stay a 0. So the rounded quotient is 26.30, which you could write as just 26.3. That's the answer to that second division problem. We should put it in there, right? Make it official. Now let's take a look at this last one here together. 22. And what we want to do with 22 is we want to see how many times we can divide it into 446. Well, take that little Post-it note, cover up all your digits, and just reveal it one at a time. If you have 4, you can't take away 22. You don't have enough. So now let's look at 44. If I have 44, I can take 22 away 2 times. 2 times 22 is 44. And 44 minus 44 is 0. Now when I scoot over that Post-it note, I see I have one more digit. We're going to drag that 6 down. How many times can we take 22 away from 6? Well, the answer is you can't. You don't have enough. 0 times. 0 times 22 is 0, and 6 minus 0 is 6. So now we're in that situation again where we've used up all the digits in our dividend. We don't have any more, but we still have a remainder. So let's add a decimal in our dividend and a decimal directly upstairs in the quotient line. And now we're going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros. So in order for me to continue dividing, I'm going to drag that first 0 down. We only want to go 1 digit at a time. So now my question is, how many times can I take 22 away from 60? Well, I could take 22 away from 60 twice. 2 times 22 is 44, and 60 minus 44 is going to give us a difference of 16. So now I'm going to reveal that next digit, which of course is our 0. We're going to drag him on down. And here I want to get an estimate. I want to know how many times I can take 22 away from 160. I could take 2 away from 16 8 times. So let's see what 22 times 8 gives us. 2 times 8 is 16. We'll regroup that 1. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1 is 17. 176 is too big. I can't take 8 22s away from 160, but I know I could go 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Regroup that 1. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 1 is 15. That gives us 154. Well, 160 minus 154 is 6. I still have a remainder. I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to drag down this next digit, which is of course our 0. And now our question is, how many times can we take 22 away from 60? The answer to that is twice. 2 times 22 is 44. And 60 minus 44 is going to give us 16 again. But guess what? We don't really care. We're done. We have enough information to round. So if I want to round this problem or this quotient to the hundredths place, I'm going to round it to right there, that second digit past the decimal. So that 2 is going to tell that 7 to do something, right? That 2 is going to tell that 7 actually to stay put. So when I round the quotient of this division problem, I have 20.27. And although that's not the exact quotient, this would just kind of keep going. That's close enough, right? In 6th grade, we can get close enough, and ending it and rounding it in the hundredths place is just fine. So that's what that one looks like. What I would like for you to do is use that same strategy. Use the same tools, use your pencil, use your color, and see if you can solve for the quotients of the rest of the problems on this page. And once you've solved them, it is absolutely fine to use a calculator to go ahead and check it. See if you got it right. I'll see you back for help with your next part of your division practice. Bye.